Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for the first of no doubt many transfer update videos. This is a series that tends to start happening in every transfer window. The summer tends to be the most busiest, obviously. And frankly, we have already started. It's June the 5th today. So really, lots of contracts and deals don't actually end until July. But I think this season, more than any, we're going to see more free contract, free transfers, deals that have been allowed to run down than ever, really, because of COVID and this idea that there were going to just be hundreds of players out of contract. So that's already been happening, I have to say. And there's been deals done, end of contracts, and, you know, off they go, and contracts maybe being ended early, and deals done ahead of the contracts. Don't expect to see too much in the way of transfer fees. I mean, we never find out these days anyway. Let's just be very frank about it, with everything pretty much going through as undisclosed as a rule now. But you never know. You never know. And we all think that key cog in the summer transfer market is a certain Spurs striker moving, if that money stays in the English game. And then the filter down, you can almost follow it through with Kane and maybe Ings and then maybe Adam Armstrong. And then all of a sudden there might be some money in the Championship. We will see. As ever, expect the three relegated teams to possibly be able to have the biggest spend, and we'll see if there are any big deals, highly rated players going to go out of the Championship. Let's have a look at the deals that have already been done, and please, in the comments, if there's one I don't mention that has gone through, feel free to put it in politely, as with all YouTube comments. That's very, very helpful. Here's one that we've talked about already. I put a little clip up on this, so I won't go too far. But James Collins into Cardiff from Luton Town. So Luton finishing in the middle of the table. Cardiff a year two parachute team. Perhaps Mr. Collins has got himself a pay rise with it being an end of contract there. He's been a great servant for Luton, hasn't he? Scored plenty of goals there. And he joins up with Mick McCarthy and Kiefer Moore. Seems like a pretty good fit, I guess. If you're a Luton fan, there's maybe a little bit of a shame that there's no fee there, given, you know, what a good player he's been there over at the Kenny. But Luton's recruitment's nice and tight, isn't it? Made a profit, didn't they, in their last set of accounts? So they're not exactly scraping, are they, Luton? They're doing well, and obviously with the signing of Adebayo in January, I guess the position's covered. But you'd expect to see someone else go in up top at Luton at some point throughout the summer. So Collins in looks to make sense. Good luck to him. He's worked his way up. You would assume this is the biggest contract he's ever had, and we admire these players and we don't begrudge them going on that journey for sure, especially the type of players we deal with in the Championship when they've not come through academies and had that huge contract straight away. We couldn't begrudge someone like Collins getting to this point in his career and taking it at Cardiff. Charlie Austin, again, we spoke about him. Austin back to QPR. Complete no-brainer. This one, Austin had been at West Brom. He wasn't in favour. We think he was on a very, very big contract. Wages were then an issue with any loan move being done to a Championship club. It was felt maybe not mobile enough for the Premier League anymore, but as a finisher, certainly a very viable Championship player. Where was the one place where they could probably get over the wages stumbling block with a bit of emotional and club attachment pull? It was QPR, so he went in there on loan. Great influence at QPR, and it makes sense that they've managed to do the deal. You would hope that it's a viable deal for both parties. Obviously, you would imagine Austin's had to take somewhat of a pay cut, but he's had some good years, let's just say, particularly with that West Brom deal and, being a highly viable Premier League striker back in the day. Give him big chances, he will score goals and he'll help the likes of Lyndon Dykes at QPR. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, and I dare say West Brom will probably be pleased to have that wage off the balance sheet, given wasn't really ever a first-team guy there on a consistent basis. Another one in at QPR, Sam Field joins QPR from West Brom, and same direction of travel there as the last one. 23 years old, 19 appearances in the team on loan from West Brom. Always an interesting one, this, where you've got a sort of young player who's come through at a club, goes on loan. He's going to continue that journey at the club he's been on loan at. I saw Field a couple of times for West Brom. Obviously, with COVID, I've never seen him play for QPR in the flesh. Sort of a midfielder, but decent build and power getting around the pitch. You would assume, knowing what we know about Mark Warburton, that he's been identified for a reason, and that trial period has happened with the loan. Have we got any idea on a undisclosed? Yeah, undisclosed fee. So, as I always say, show me the deal memorandum, or we're just in guessing game land. So, you would hope that this doesn't mean we're going to see a prized asset go out of QPR. But, as I always say, it's not the worst thing in the world to sell as long as you replace well. But I think in QPR's position, is it really plausible that 4 or 5 come in without a dicky or a chair possibly having to go out to facilitate that spend? We will find out. I'm sure there's people in the comments much better versed in the QPR kind of financial situation at the moment than I am. There's one more at QPR, and it's all very straightforward and sensible, this at QPR, isn't it? A third player, Jordy de Vries, who was on loan there last season, 26-year-old, undisclosed fee, going out from Hull. Now, remember, Hull were promoted as champions in League One, and they're returning to the Championship. But the loan deal took him up a division, and this is very basic assumption work from me. When I see a player loan up the divisions, I always assume he's a white elephant at the club he's at, as in there's too big a contract there, perhaps, and it's better financially, even though that player would be very well worth having. It's better financially for them to go off, and they actually go on loan up the pyramid. And QPR fans very keen to point out to me that the change in form for QPR mid-season wasn't just Austin and Johansson coming in. It was a change to a back three, and in goes Jordy de Vries there into the 3 at the back. So very, very sensible from QPR. And we've said this often about teams that get promoted, haven't we? That given the amount of loans that go on nowadays in the Championship, sometimes even to maintain your team, to have as good a team as you had last season, you have to do a few deals. And I think QPR fans will be really pleased. These are all done. They're all players that Warburton knows and trusts and have done the audition, all coming in. We'll probably never find out what the fees are. We never do for the 2 players, de Vries and Field. But yeah, encouraging stuff, I guess, if you're a QPR fan. And let's keep watching on maybe the prized asset end for Rangers. It's another QPR link there. This is seamless stuff, this, isn't it? Joe Lumley has gone out to Middlesbrough. QPR are very much sorted for a keeper, with Seny Dieng having the position. I suppose he would go on the list of saleable assets there, although that's unlikely given this move, isn't it? Lumley obviously just gone down the pecking order there. And Neil Warnock just hasn't managed to sort of keeper up at Middlesbrough. Ended the season with Archer, didn't he, in goal, who Millwall fans had a bit of a love-hate relationship with back in the day. Went to Fulham, and there'd been Bettinelli as well on loan. So, yeah, Warnock, I think had an Austrian keeper as well, who went out during the season. So really struggling to hold down a keeper, aren't they? And I think a free transfer signing from another Championship club would be a classic Warnock. Get 40 games out of that deal there. So, yeah, we'll see who's challenging for the shirt. Knowing Warnock as well, that won't be the only keeper he signs. He loves a bit of pitting his players against each other, doesn't he? So Lumley into Borough. Free transfer, yeah, after his Rangers contract. So it's another no-brainer depending on signing on fees and wages and agents' fees and all that stuff. We never get to find out. Again, we're in the same bracket here. Scott Malone to join Millwall on a permanent deal. It's another player that was on loan. I think he's been on loan. Is it like the past 2 seasons now? He had a really good season, didn't he? Malone added a few speculative goals as well in from sort of the left wing-back position. Rowett likes his 3 at the back. Malone's been there all season. He's been at the club previously. Everything you hear coming out of Derby sounds like they are cutting costs to try and make it as lean as they can to sell and avoid any possible FFP sanctions. So, yeah, players like Malone, who expensive players before. I remember going from Fulham to Huddersfield for a bit of cash, didn't he? Scott Malone is a good signing. It's another one who's already done the audition. And I think it goes in the no-brainer category and a nice pickup for Millwall there. 30 years old as well, so still got a good few years at this level ahead of him. And this is George Long also going into Millwall. The goalkeeper will join the Lions on the 1st of July. We said we'd have a few like this. 27-year-old keeper from Hull. Now, when you look at Millwall and you look at the goalkeeping position, Białkowski, I think, has been the player of the year 3 years running. So I think George Long is coming knowing that there's somebody very entrenched in that first team spot, and it's a hard battle, isn't it? But every team needs a substitute goalkeeper, and you know you'd sooner have one who's 27 and who's got a bit of experience than your 19-year-old. That's kind of your third choice goalkeeper, I guess, working with the other keepers and moving up. Very unique position, goalkeeper, isn't it? Need to judge it differently to any other position on the pitch, frankly. But you would assume Long comes in there as a little bit of backup for Bart. Off to Luton now. Couple in to Luton. There's lots of Hull links here. Reece Burke is joining a defender from Hull. When his contract expires at the end of the month, so it's another one. It's probably July, the first one. 24 years old, Burke, centre-half. And look, we'll talk about a Luton centre-half that's gone out later on in the video. And lots of and ahhing about Sonny Bradley's contract. He's re-signed and Burke has also come in. So you would think, good age, free transfer as well. Typical clever Luton job, that one, I think, isn't it? They do seem to recruit very well, do the Hatters. And, you know, given towards the end of the season, you've got Cal Naismith, who's, in my head, a left midfielder or a left wing-back playing at centre-back a few times. Perhaps they did need a bespoke player in that position. So you like it, don't you? Seems to make a lot of sense and seems to be a good pickup. And here's another one at Luton. Fred Onyedinma, who's only 24. Didn't realise he was still so young. I remember seeing Fred Onyedinma, probably 17-18 season, coming off the bench for Millwall. And there was this idea that it was a rough diamond, that he was really rapid and really fast, but hadn't quite got everything together to be impactful yet, as we find with a lot of speedy winger type figures. Gone off to Wycombe and played a decent amount of football in the Championship for Wycombe last season. Wycombe obviously relegated now. And Onyedinma, an undisclosed fee made possible by the Transfer Club Fund. You love to see it, don't you? So Onyedinma, they've spent some money on. I suspect they will see that Luton as a project. They'll say, look, he's 24, he's a good age. He's got championship experience. He's really fast. Let's see if they can hone him into that Nathan Jones Luton style, where playing quickly on transition is a thing. So it could be another nice Luton pickup. But you would imagine they're going to be doing a little bit of work there, because it's again that raw talent and putting it together. And often, players do improve on that through their careers. So good luck to Fred over at Luton. Riley McGree, another one who'd been on loan last season. This is our first loan deal of the new season. He goes back in at Birmingham, a versatile midfielder, 15 appearances, and also featured at wing back. I guess it's as simple as there was an option to go and do the deal again. Where does he come from? Charlotte FC in the MLS. There we go. Very nice too. So I guess, Bo, you liked him. And they've done the deal. It's only to January, if I am... Yeah, January the 1st, 2022. So McGree basically has another sort of 6 months audition to, get the move. And without denigrating MLS in any way, you're one stage removed from the Premier League over in the Championship. So you would think MLS to Championship would be a route that players wanted to take. So good luck to him. Here's 4 signings now. Our last club is Huddersfield, and this is Ollie Turton, 28-year-old right back for Blackpool. And I'm glad I did the League One playoffs now, because I've seen Ollie Turton play his last 3 games. And he scored in the semi-final first leg from a set play, and he scored an own goal within 46 seconds of the final. But looks a fairly sensible one on the surface. Turton played in a well-structured Blackpool team that's won promotion, played lots of winning football, frankly, under Neil Critchley there. Good age, good experience. All I will say is Pippa already in that position at Huddersfield. I know he had to cover across on the left, but there's Toffolo there. So I'll be interested to see how that all stacks up. Looks like they've got 2 players in the right-back position. 2-year deal. I'm not seeing anything about a fee there. Yeah, free agent on the 1st of July. So across he goes from Blackpool to Huddersfield. And across goes Lee Nichols, who's a keeper from Milton Keynes. 6'3", 28 years old, 157 appearances. Now, forgive me, I remember Joel Pereira being on loan. I remember Ben Hamer, but then he went off to Swansea. So I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, the Huddersfield keeper position is actually totally nailed down. Schofield, the young goalkeeper there, had played a number of games as well. So whether they're just going to stick with Schofield and that's a long-term project, I don't know. You'd imagine they've put a lot of time into him now, but here's a challenger in terms of Nichols. Let me know how you think that plays out. He'll be joining also on 1st of July on a free. Matty Pearson, who I try my best not to mention when we were talking about Luton. He was the other guy, 27 years old, on a free there. So we're getting the chain that we get sometimes in transfers. So Pearson obviously goes out from Luton to Huddersfield. Bradley re-signs at Luton. Burke goes from Hull to Luton. DeVries goes from Hull to QPR. Hull are definitely going to be in the market for a centre-back. Look out for that one in the next month or so. They're going to need somebody in there. But looks like Luton are trying to move on in their rise up the table. Huddersfield trying to do the same thing, essentially. But a couple of stages behind Luton, I think. And Pearson comes in. It was Pearson and Bradley for the longest time there. Says he's local to Yorkshire as well. So a kind of homecoming, 27 years old, played plenty of championship football. And I suppose they've been starting with Richard Keogh a lot of the time, who's very experienced, but he's not going to be playing that many more seasons. Naby Sarr in those positions as well. So often played a 3 as well, Corberon, didn't he? So in goes Pearson into the mix. Useful signing on a free. And I don't know where he's gone. I wanted to mention Jordan Rhodes there. Look, I was asked about this in the stream and I clipped it out as well. So Jordan Rhodes also back to Huddersfield. So 4 signings in Huddersfield. They're the one that have made the most moves. And again, Jordan Rhodes probably goes in the Charlie Austin bracket of maybe best years possibly behind him, but very experienced, full of experience. Give him big chances, give him a striking partner, and he will score goals in this level. And of course, like Charlie Austin, a returning hero. Off the back of that, let's call it as it is, very, very bad transfer to Sheffield Wednesday that cost Sheffield Wednesday a hell of a lot of money over the duration of that contract. They were trying to get him out of it for the longest time. But look, they signed the deal, didn't they, Chansiri and Wednesday, and Jordan Rhodes just, well, you promised to pay me this much for this amount of years, pay me. If you haven't got the money, that's on you, not me. So, yes, we'll see how Rhodes does. And look, you would expect if they can be a reasonably functioning team and get him in for 20, 30 games plus of the season, that he'll get some goals. But as I say, not the Jordan Rhodes Huddersfield had before in League One, when he just scored an absolute hatful, didn't he? So there you go, guys. That is the first transfer roundup. Get your views. I've had my say. Now you have yours. Get your views in on any of those deals in the comments. Again, if there's any deals I've missed, we'll focus on the incomings if it's frees and loans. I'm not too interested in trawling 24 retained lists for every single player that's gone out. So we'll look at incomings to the Championship clubs. We'll look at incoming loans as well. If there's big deals going out, we'll cover them, of course. So if there's any you feel that are worth mentioning, just stick them in the comments and I'll add them to the list for the next video. These ones will go regularly now until, God, I got 3 months of this, June, July, August fully, and then the window will close in September. So look, expect over 20 of these videos. We'll try and do them. Well, look, we'll do them as often as they need to be done when there's sort of 8, 10 transfers done. But with the Euros going on, I'll be plenty busy with other stuff. So maybe they'll ramp up, to use a term that we've heard many, many times over the past year or so. Maybe they'll ramp up after the Euros has finished. So there you go. There is our first transfer update video for Championship clubs. Get your thoughts in on any of the deals and enjoy your lovely sunny weekend, which I'm going to attempt to try and do now. Thanks for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.